Good morning. The time is now 9 a.m. on Monday, January 7th, 2019. This time I will call for nominations for election of a temporary chair for the 2019 annual organization meeting.
I will nominate John Morgan as temporary chair.
Is there a second?
Yes, I'll second that nomination.
Mr. Groh?
I vote yes.
Mr. Bach?
Yes.
Thank you, gentlemen. With that, I will call the 2019 annual organization meeting to order. Would you please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance?
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Next item on our agenda is nomination for an election of a chairman. I'll call for nominations for chair.
I'll nominate John Groh as chairman.
I will second. Mr. Bach?
Yes.
And I vote yes. Mr. Groh, I turn the show over to you.
Okay. Okay, at this time, we call for nominations for the election of a vice chairman.
I nominate James Bach for vice chair.
And I will second that motion. Mr. Morgan, how do you vote?
I vote yes.
And I also vote yes. Okay, moving on to item number 6, the township secretary. Do I hear a motion for nomination for township secretary?
I nominate Cheryl Williams as township secretary.
Okay, do I hear a second on that?
I'll second.
Okay. Mr. Bach, how do you vote?
Vote yes.
Mr. Morgan, how do you vote?
I vote yes.
And I also vote yes. Next item is item number 7, our township treasurer. Do I hear nomination for township treasurer?
I nominate Mark Zaszewski as township treasurer.
Okay, do I hear a second on that?
I'll second.
Okay. Mr. Morgan, how do you vote?
I vote yes.
And Mr. Bach, how do you vote?
I vote yes.
And I also vote yes. Item number 8, appointment of township engineer. Do I hear a motion for an appointment?
I make a motion to nominate Ann Sokol as township engineer.
Okay, do I hear a second on that?
I'll second the appointment.
Okay. Mr. Bach, how do you vote?
Yes.
Mr. Morgan, how do you vote?
I vote yes.
And I also vote yes. Item number 9 is the appointment of the township solicitor. Do I hear a motion for an appointment for that?
I make a motion to nominate Mark Shaw from McDonald, Illig, Jones, and Britton, LLP, as township solicitor.
Okay, do I hear a second on that?
I'll second the appointment.
Okay. Mr. Morgan, how do you vote?
I vote yes.
Mr. Bach, how do you vote?
Yes.
And I also vote yes. And for clarification, that is the firm of McDonald, Illig, Jones, and Britton, with Mark Shaw being the principal contact. Item number 10, let's see here, municipal administrator for public works and services. With the oversight of public works, public services, and the board's liaison to the Parks and Recreation Commission, Recycling and Advisory Education Commission, and chairman of the Safety Committee. Do I hear a motion?
I would move that we appoint John Groh to be appointed to the employed position of Municipal Administrator of Public Works and Services with oversight over the Department of Public Works, Department of Public Services, Department of Parks and Recreation, and liaison to the Recycling Advisory and Education Committee, the Parks and Recreation Committee, and also as chairman of the Safety Committee.
Okay, do I hear a second on that?
I'll second that.
Okay, Mr. Bach, how do you vote?
I vote yes.
Mr. Morgan, how do you vote?
I vote yes.
And just a matter of clarification, do I vote on that?
Yes,
here,
you,
too?
you are permitted to vote on
Okay,
that.
then I will accept that position too, so make that as affirmative vote. Okay, item number 11, municipal administrator over township operations with oversight of Department of Administration and Department of Planning and Development, and the board's liaison to the Planning Commission and zoning hearing boards. Do I hear a motion to appoint someone for that?
I make a motion to appoint John Morgan as municipal administrator of township operations as stated.
Okay, and I will second that motion. Mr. Morgan, how do you vote?
I vote yes.
Okay. Mr. Bach, how do you vote?
I'll vote yes.
And I also vote yes. Next one is municipal administrator over public safety with oversight over the Millcreek Police Department, the Department of Code Enforcement, and the board's liaison to the Fire and Emergency Services Commission, as well as a neighborhood watch. I will make a motion to appoint James Bach as municipal administrator. I hear a second on that.
I'll second the appointment to Municipal Administrator of Public Safety, yes.
Okay. Mr. Bach, how do you vote?
I will vote yes.
Mr. Morgan?
I vote yes.
And I also vote yes. Okay, delegate and alternate delegate. This is number 13 on the agenda. Delegate and alternate delegate to the 2019 PSAS conference. Do I hear a motion to appoint those delegates and alternates?
Mr. Chair, I vote to appoint James Bach as the delegate to the 2019 PSAT State Conference and John Grow as the alternate delegate to the state conference.
Okay, Mr. Shaw, we need to get a second on that. Any of us can
Yes.
second that. Okay, there. Mr. Bach, would you like to second that motion?
Yes, I will.
Sorry to put you on the
Yes.
spot.
We have a lot of faith in you, Jim.
Thank you for that. Thank you so much.
Yes, okay. Mr. Morgan, how do you vote?
Enthusiastically, I vote yes.
And I'm assuming the same enthusiasm comes from Mr. Bach.
Oh, yes, yes.
And myself, I share the same
10,
sentiment.
10-4, 10-4.
Okay, 3 in the affirmative. Okay, moving on. Item number 14, member of the Cato Executive Committee for 2019. Do I hear a motion for an appointment on that?
Mr. Chair, I can think of no one better than James Bach to serve on that committee. I
And I'll agree with
nominate
that.
James Bach.
I'll agree with a second on that motion there. Okay, Mr. Bach, how do you vote?
Thank you for your faith in me, gentlemen. I vote yes.
Okay, Mr. Morgan, how do you vote?
I vote yes.
And I also vote yes. Item number 15, representative and alternate representatives to the Erie Area Council of Governments for 2019. Do I hear motion for appointments on that?
That number 15, John?
For 15, I'm sorry, yes. Yes.
Okay. I move that John Grow, in his capacity as municipal administrator, and Gary Snyder and Sean Kern, in their capacities as Public Works Director and Street Bureau Chief, be appointed respectively the township's representative and alternate representatives to the Erie Area Council of Governments for 2019.
Okay, do I hear a second on that?
I will second.
Okay, Mr. Morgan, how do you vote?
I vote yes.
Mr. Bach, how do you vote?
Yes.
And I also vote yes on those actions. Item number 16, representative and alternate representative to the Lake Erie Coastal Zone Advisory Committee for the year 2019. I hear a motion for an appointment. Appointments.
I move that we appoint Matthew Aldinger, Director of Planning and Development, as the representative, and Ann Sokol, Township Engineer, as the alternate to the Lake Erie Coastal Zone Advisory Committee.
Okay, do I hear a second on that?
I'll second that.
Okay, Mr. Bach, how do you vote?
Yes.
Mr. Morgan, how do you vote?
I vote yes.
And I also vote yes on that. Let's see here, item number 17 on the agenda, voting representative number 1 and an alternate to the Erie Metropolitan Planning Organization, otherwise known as Erie MPO, Coordinating Committee for 2019. Do I hear a motion for appointments?
I move that John Morgan, as municipal administrator, and Township Engineer Ann Sokol be appointed voting representative number 1 and alternate to the Erie Metropolitan Planning Organization, Erie MPO, for 2019.
Okay, being a second, I'll make that second on that there. Mr. Morgan, how do you vote?
I vote yes.
And Mr. Bach, how do you vote?
Yes.
And I also vote yes. Item number 18, voting representative number 2 and an alternate for the Erie MPO for 2019. Do I hear a motion for an appointment on that?
I move that we appoint Matthew Aldinger, Director of Planning, as the voting representative for the Erie MPO Coordinating Committee, and Emma George, our project engineer, as his alternate.
Okay, do I hear a second on that?
I'll second.
Okay, Mr. Bach, how do you vote?
Vote yes.
And Mr. Morgan, how do you vote?
I vote yes.
Okay, and I also vote yes on those actions. Item number 19, voting representative and alternate to the Erie Metropolitan Planning Organization Technical Advisory Committee for 2019. Do I hear a motion for appointments on that?
I move that John Morgan, as municipal administrator, and Matthew Waldinger be appointed voting representative and alternate to the Erie MPO Technical Advisory Committee for 2019.
Okay, and I'll second that action there. Mr. Morgan, how do you vote?
I vote yes.
Mr. Bach, how do you vote?
Yes.
And I also vote yes. Okay, item number 20, resolution 2019-R-1, which includes the definition of municipal administrator and liaison duties. And I don't think that has changed from last year. I think we still have the same language in that. Okay, so I need to call for a motion to approve resolution 2019-R-1.
I'll make that motion to approve resolution 2019-R1.
Okay, do I hear a second on that?
I'll second.
Okay, Mr. Morgan, how do you vote?
I vote yes.
Mr. Bach, how do you vote?
Yes.
And I also vote yes on that. Okay, moving on to financial matters for 2019. Item number 21 is establish a bond for the treasurer in the amount of $1 million. Do I hear a motion on establishing that bond?
I'll make that motion to establish the bond for the treasurer.
Okay, and a second on that? Do I hear a second?
I'll second.
Okay. Mr. Morgan, how do you vote?
I vote yes.
And Mr. Bach, how do you vote?
Yes.
And I also vote yes on that. And item number 22 is the fund depositories for 2019. Of course, we have numerous financial institutions we are dealing with here at the township. We try to spread that out among them. And of course, those who offer the best rates and best services that we can get. That list is available. There's quite a lengthy list, 2 pages long, of the financial institutions we deal with. So I'm going to call for a motion to approve those fund depositories for the year 2019. Your motion on that?
Mr. Chair, I would, I guess, recommend that maybe just read off the bank names.
Okay. Yeah, I'm sorry. I probably should do that there.
I can do that as part of the
You wanna do
motion,
that part
John.
there,
yeah.
John? I have my next agenda up on my computer, so.
I move that we approve the 2019 fund depositories, including PNC Bank, First National Bank of PA, Citizens Bank, Northwest Savings Bank, Newburger Berman Private Equity Fund, Vanguard International Growth Fund, DFA International Core Fund, Multi-Employer Property Trust, and Erie Bank.
Quite a few. Thank you for covering on that there, John. Okay, we have a motion. Do I have a second on approving the fund depositories?
I'll second that.
Okay. Mr. Bach, how do you vote?
I vote yes on that.
And Mr. Morgan, how do you vote?
I vote yes.
And I also vote yes on that. Item number 23 is nomination of insurance carriers for the year 2019. We have a list of those. For our workman's comp, we have the MRM Municipal Risk Management Trust. For our property insurance, we have McGowan Governmental Underwriters, and the same for their general liability and our automobile insurance. And let's see, I think that's it there. Those are our insurance companies that we have. Okay, so I need a motion to approve those insurance carriers for this year.
I'll make that motion to improve those carriers for 2019.
Okay, do I hear a second on that?
I'll second.
Okay, Mr. Bach, how do you vote?
I vote yes.
Mr. Morgan, how do you vote?
I vote yes.
And I also vote yes on that. Okay, administrative matters. Item number 24, communicate appointments, treasurer's bond to the auditors. Let's see, I'm going to pull this up over here. We have a letter to the Township Board of Auditors advising them of who's going to be appointed to what positions here as administrators, and that we also have set a bond for the treasurer at $1 million. And I don't know if does that take official action here? Or, yeah, I think it might, yes.
Yeah, and also
Yeah.
the assignment of various board members to
Okay.
various capacities and
Oh, yeah.
delegates and so forth.
Okay, thank you for adding that there, Mr. Shaw. So we have that list of those people who are going to be appointed to the respective boards and commissions. So we need to have a motion to approve this, to send it on to the Board of Auditors for their meeting. I hear a motion on that?
I move to approve the notification to the auditors.
Okay, do I hear a second on
I'll second that.
that? Okay. Mr. Bach, how do you vote?
Yes.
Mr. Morgan, how do you vote?
I vote yes.
And I also vote yes. Okay, let's see, our committee, authority, and commission appointments. That is item number 25. Pardon me. Mark, well, grab this from you here, I'm sorry. We have some reappointments. I'll probably go right down through the list here. Let's see here, reappointment for the Planning Commission. The following names, I'll probably read them all as one group here. So for reappointment, I have Mr. Gene Strohmeyer, Mr. David Skelly, and Mr. Douglas Prozan for reappointment for 4-year terms to serve on the Millcreek Planning Commission. And then also Linda McCabe, who had been an alternate, appoint her to replace Tim Nagelli, who has his vacancy will be up. So her position would be for a 1-year term of the 4-year term left vacant by Mr. Nagelli. So we've got that. The Recycling and Advisory Committee, all of the members of that, Steve Cornelius, Carl Kronmeyer, Janine Fennell, Ken Fromnick, Skip Glover, Jessica Stutzman, Roy Walkema, Judy Zelina, Dana James, and Sean Stutzman for 1-year term. We need to reappoint all of them. And then on the UCC, in other words, the Uniform Construction Code Appeals Board, we will have a new solicitor on that. This has already been approved by the other members of the joint committee. It would be Attorney David Rhodes. I think he's with the Eldricken Law Firm, am I correct with that
Yes.
there? So he would be appointed. And then also for the Vacancy Board, a new 1-year term to expire January 15th of 2020. Reverend John Dedish of St. Jude's Church, that'd be a reappointment. And then the Zoning Hearing Board, reappoint for a 3-year term to expire January 2022, William Bridger. And then an alternate, Robert Tanner. His will expire at the same time, and his is a reappointment. I think I have them all there, so.
John, I think his expires on January 15th of 2020.
Yeah, yes,
It's a little
yeah,
different
I think
term.
that's what I said. I'm sorry if I misspoke there. But yeah, January 15th, 2020 is when his term ends. So we're going to reappoint him today with a successful motion here. So do I hear a motion for all those reappointments and appointments?
John, do we have to do the fire and emergency service?
At the top of the list,
Right
John.
at the top, Randy?
Oh, I'm sorry. I walked right by that one.
And-
I'm sorry.
And Parks and Rec.
And, yeah, I got the Parks and Rec, I believe. No, I didn't. I am sorry on that. Oh, boy. Okay. For the Fire and Emergency Services Commission, a new 3-year term to expire January 15th, 2022. Randy Lekowski, his initial term for 2 years expires 15th of this month. So we're looking at a reappointment for him on the 15th to go on through January 15th, 2022. And the Parks and Recreation Committee, these are new 5-year terms to expire January 15th, 2024. These are appointments by the Millcreek School District. School board members Lisa Capabianca and Donnie Hosford. So those are the appointments by the school district to serve on our Parks Commission. So I think I have them all. I think I have all the names listed there if I didn't forget anybody. So anyway, I call for a motion to approve those appointments and reappointments.
I would move to approve the reappointments as stated, and also further to appoint Linda McCabe to a new position from alternate on Planning Commission to full member of the Planning Commission.
Okay, do I hear a second on that?
I'll second.
Okay. Mr. Morgan, how do you vote?
I vote yes.
And Mr. Block, how do you vote?
Yes?
And I also vote yes. Okay, let's see here. Number 26, designation of regular meetings of boards, supervisors. The 2019 meeting schedule, I'll read the whole thing here. The regular meetings of the Millcreek Board of Supervisors will be held on the second Tuesday of each month at 9:30 a.m. except January and December, and the fourth Tuesday of each month at 7 p.m. except November 26th, when the meeting will be at 9:30, and on December 17th, in which the meeting will be at 7 p.m. Millcreek Zoning Board will meet on the last Wednesday of each month at 7 p.m. with no meeting in November, but a meeting on December 4th. The Planning Commission will meet the first Tuesday of each month, except January and November, when they will meet on the second Tuesday of each month. The Millcreek Parks and Recs Commission will meet on the first Wednesdays of February, April, June, August, October, and December at 7 p.m. And the Recycling Education Advisory Committee will meet on the following Thursdays, May 2nd, October 3rd, and October 3rd at 5 p.m. The Fire and Emergency Medical Services Commission will meet on the third Thursday of each month at 7 p.m. The Millcreek Pension Committee will meet quarterly at 9 a.m. on Thursdays, February 21st, May 16th, August 15th, and November 21st in the East Conference Room upstairs. All other meetings held in the Assembly Room, all other meetings will be held here in this meeting room here. And so we need to get that advertised. We need to, this action will approve. Okay. Okay, so I hear a motion to approve those meeting dates.
Mr. Chairman, I would only point out that the Planning Commission meetings are at 7 p.m.
Okay, thank you for clarifying that there. Okay. Okay, with that stated, do I hear any motion to approve that?
I'll make a motion to approve the 2019 meeting schedule as stated.
Okay, and a second on that?
I'll second.
Okay. Mr. Morgan, how do you vote?
I vote yes.
Mr. Bach, how do you vote?
I vote yes.
And I also vote yes. Okay. Item number 27, Resolution 2019-R-2, employee attendance at meetings. This resolution be it resolved that we, the Board of Supervisors of Millcreek Township, Pennsylvania, authorize municipal administrators in their employed capacities, the volunteer firefighters and employees as authorized by the Township Supervisor to attend such meetings and events during 2019 that pertain to their full-time duties as township officials and employees. So we need to make a motion to approve that resolution for meeting attendance.
I'll make a motion to approve Resolution 2019-R-2.
Okay, do I hear a second on that?
I'll second.
Okay, Mr. Morgan, how do you vote on that?
How about yes?
Mr. Bach, how do you vote?
Vote yes.
And I also vote yes on that. And at this time, do we have any other action before the board here on this? Nothing else? Okay, we're going to call for an adjournment of this meeting at, let's see here, 9:22 a.m. And we will start with our regular meeting at 9:30. So we will have a brief intermission here. And we'll start the regular meeting, as I said, at 9:30. I hear a motion to adjourn this meeting.
So moved.
Second?
I'll second.
Okay, we are adjourned. Today's January the 7th. Time is 9:30. We will call the regular meeting of the Millcreek Township Board of Supervisors to order. And we'll need a pledge of allegiance for this. We already did it at a prior meeting, reorganization. Moving on to item number 2, public comment on agenda items other than development or rezoning applications. Okay, being none, we'll move on to item number 3, approval of the minutes. We have the minutes from our meeting of December the 18th. Any additions or corrections to those minutes? If none, I'll entertain a motion.
I'll make a motion to approve the minutes.
Okay, do I hear a second?
I'll second.
Okay. Mr. Morgan, how do you vote?
How about yes?
Mr. Bach, how do you vote?
I vote yes.
And I also vote yes on that. Okay. Item number 4 is approval of the bills. And I know there was a separate document that came out. Are there any questions regarding any of the bills? If none, I'll call for a motion to approve the payment of the bills.
Make a motion to approve the bills and the additional bills we received as well.
Okay, do I hear a second?
I'll second.
Okay. Mr. Bach, how do you vote?
Yes?
Mr. Morgan, how do you vote?
How about yes?
And I also vote yes. Item number 5 is the management salaries for 2019. Let me pull this up. And give me a second here. This comes from the Human Resources Department, from Diane Lyons, who's our HR manager. And she's asking that we please approve the following salaries retroactive to January 1st of this year. We have the whole list of salaries there. I don't know if we have to go through them all. I think we can just do them as a blanket. And so I'm asking, does there anybody have a motion on that? Do I hear a motion to approve that?
Go
ahead, John.
Well, I'll move to approve 2019 management salaries
Okay.
and note that the overall increase comes out to 2.5%.
Okay, yes, thanks for noting that there with a note. Do I hear a second on that?
I'll second.
Okay, Mr. Morgan, how do you vote?
How about yes?
Mr. Bach, how do you vote?
Yes?
Okay, and I also vote yes. Okay, item number 6, bids and quotations. This comes CEC change order number 1, CEC Consulting and Inspection Services. This is in regards to the Wolf Run Drive storm sewer repair. Let's see here, Mr. Waldinger.
Thank you. Good morning. Yes, this is in regards to the storm sewer failure that occurred on Wolf Run. The consulting inspection contracts were previously awarded to CEC in 2018. The consulting contract for the design actually came in lower than the quoted amount, but the inspection portion came in higher, mostly because we had to get a geotechnical engineer in a couple more times once the site was excavated. So the total change from the original contract was awarded at $76,900. We recommend approval of change order number 1 for an additional $1,603.18. That brings the total current contract amount to $78,503.18.
Okay. Any questions among the board? Okay. None? Okay. Do I hear a motion to approve change order number 1 on that CEC contract?
I'll make that motion.
Okay. Do I hear a second?
I'll second.
Okay. Mr. Bach, how do you vote?
Yes.
Mr. Morgan, how do you vote?
I vote yes.
And I also vote yes on that. Okay. Item number 7 is ordinance 2019-1, an ordinance to amend the Millcreek zoning ordinance for a property at 2335 West 38th Street, now zoned R1 Single Family, to be rezoned to C2 General Commercial District. I believe we acted on this at our last meeting, am I correct? And we're just formalizing the ordinance itself now.
Correct.
Yeah, no questions among the board here? Okay. Can I call for a motion to approve that ordinance?
I'll make a motion to approve ordinance 2019-1.
Okay, do I hear a second on that?
I'll second.
Okay, Mr. Bach, how do you vote?
Yes.
Mr. Morgan, how do you vote?
I vote yes.
And I also vote yes. Item number 8 is ordinance 2019-2 in regard to rezoning of a property at 2055, 2103, 2111, 2115, and 2155 Edinburgh Road, now zoned RR Rural Residential District, to be rezoned to C2 Commercial. Of course, we acted on this at a prior meeting, and this is the formalization through an ordinance. Do I hear a motion to approve that?
I'll make a motion to approve ordinance 2019-2.
Okay, do I hear a second?
I'll second.
Okay, Mr. Morgan, how do you vote?
I vote yes.
And Mr. Bach?
I vote yes.
And I also vote yes. Item number 9 is a resolution 2019-R-3, a resolution to set the rate of participant contribution to the Millcreek Police Pension Plan. Let's see here, should I probably refer that down to Mark Shahesky?
This was in the latest labor agreement. The contributions were 5% up through 2018. It increases to 5.25% for 2019,
Okay.
which is the final year of the contract. And this is just formalizing and adopting that provision.
Okay. Any questions among the board here?
Mr. Chairman, I just note that in the actual resolution, it appears there might be a typo at the end.
okay.
It notes 5% in writing, but 5.25%
Oh, yeah.
numerically.
Thank you.
So I would just, I would move to approve Resolution 2019 R3 with the amendment to change the 5% narrative to a 5.25%.
Right. Okay, yes, thanks for catching that there, yes.
So I would put that in the form of a motion for approval.
Okay, do I hear a second on that?
I'll second.
Okay, Mr. Bach, how do you vote?
Yes.
Mr. Morgan, how do you vote?
I vote yes.
Okay, and I also vote yes. Okay. Item number 10, which is Resolution 2019-R4, a resolution pursuant to Resolution 2015-R20 and a municipal records manual to approve proposed disposition of certain township records. Of course, this becomes a monthly action that we do take. This comes from Chris Filson from the Millcreek Police Department. He's our IT person. He's seeking approval for the deletion of videos from the MPD dashcam server. And let's see what the dates are. The dates are between January 8th and January 22nd due to reaching of the end of the required retention period. As I said, this is just a normal action we take monthly. So any questions among the board here? Probably not. I call for a motion to, on that action there, to approve.
I'll make a motion to approve that.
Okay, and a second?
I'll second.
Okay. Mr. Bach, how do you vote?
Yes.
And Mr. Morgan, how do you vote?
I vote yes.
And I also vote yes on that. Okay. And then Resolution 2019-R-5. I'll tell you what, I'm just going to refer this right over to Mark Shaw, our solicitor.
Sure, thank you,
Maybe
Mr.
can
Chairman.
offer an explanation on that.
Yes, Resolution 2019-R-5 is a resolution directing the Fire Commission to create a committee to assist the township with creating a clear future vision for the provision of fire and emergency services in Millcreek Township, and to make recommendations of actions necessary to achieve that vision. If you recall, a couple of months ago, the Fire Commission had requested that the township create a 5-member task force with the goal of assisting the township in establishing that vision and making those types of recommendations. After reviewing the Commission's obligations and the bylaws of the Commission, it was determined that the more preferential path to this would be to have the Commission itself create its own committee to carry out those purposes, and the bylaws give the chairman the right to appoint members to those committees, including non-commission members. So the resolution, under the resolution, the Board of Supervisors directs the Fire Commission, in accordance with its bylaws, to create a committee to assist the township with creating a clear future vision for the provision of fire and emergency services in Millcreek Township, and to make recommendations of actions necessary to achieve that vision. That the membership of the committee, including the number of members, shall be as determined by the chairman of the Fire Commission as provided in the Commission bylaws, and that the Commission shall present its vision and make its recommendations to the Commission and the Board of Supervisors on or before July 1, 2019.
Okay. Any questions or comments among the board? Anybody?
I just want to commend Mr. Bach and Mr. Shaw for working on this kind of resolution to this matter. Looking forward to the results of that, and also I thank Randy Lukowski, our chairman of that commission, for coming up with this idea. I think he's got us on the right track.
Okay. Okay. I don't want to get off on a bad frame here this early in the year, but I do have a comment, and I was at that meeting which the Fire Commission made a recommendation that the Board of Supervisors create this task force. They want guidance from us, as those of us who are elected leaders, to show some leadership in what it is that we are looking for in regards to fire service. Not the plan, but just some guidance as a time frame of what's going to happen when and so on. And I think this is contrary to what the Fire Commission had asked for. However, we are going to end up with a task force, and that's what the end goal is here. But I believe that the commissioner requested that we, as supervisors, appoint that commission and have them work directly for us in providing that vision. So I think you get an idea where I'm standing on the matter. Of course, I do support anything that the Fire Commission is doing, anything that we're heading in the right direction. I want that to be clear. We are heading in a direction. Sadly, it's been 2 years now. We're not really moving fast enough, or at least in my view. So that's all I have to say about that there. So calling for a motion to approve or whatever action we might take on this resolution.
I'll make a motion to approve Resolution 2019-R-5.
Okay, do I hear a second on that?
I will second.
Mr. Bach, how do you vote?
I vote yes.
Mr. Morgan, how do you vote?
I vote yes.
And sadly, I'm going to vote no on this. Okay. Moving on. Item number 12. And Millcreek Township Sewer Authority approvals. I'll just send this right over to Mr. Shaw.
Sure. A couple of things we still are trying to wrap up with respect to the transfer of the sewer authority assets to the township. First is we need to get payment authorization for the DEP permit fee. As you recall, we had previously, the board had previously authorized the submission of the transfer documents to transfer these permits. After the first effort, we discovered through DEP that there were a number of additional permits that existed that weren't in the sewer authority's files. We've done a pretty thorough file review at DEP, given the state of their records, and we now have a new list of additional permits that need to be transferred. The total number is 72. The transfer fee charge for each permit is $100, so we need authorization for $7,200 to transfer those permits. This may or may not be the end. We're still trying to finalize things with DEP, but we think this is the bulk of what we were able to find both in the sewer authority's files as well as the DEP files. Okay. We actually did find a number of very old permits that were actually still in the township's name that we obviously don't have to transfer. So I would ask that the Board of Supervisors authorize the $7,200 to pay for the transfer of these, although I will caveat that we are still trying to convince DEP not to charge us, or to charge us less.
Okay, so this is not to exceed
Which has not been,
72?
which has not been fruitful yet, but
Not getting anywhere on that one, okay. Okay, well, that's it. Should we act on all these together? Or wait a second, I'm sorry, maybe I'm moving too far ahead of
yeah,
myself. That's just the one right there.
this is just the one for
That's the first one
the
there, okay.
$7,200.
Right, okay. So that would be payment authorization of the DEP permit fees. Do I hear a motion to approve that?
I'll make a motion to approve that payment for the DEP permit fee,
Okay.
not to exceed $7,200.
Okay, we're gonna try for free, but,
Yes.
okay.
That's the goal.
Okay, yeah. And do I hear a second on that?
Just to clarify,
Yeah.
would the funds be coming out of the general fund or sewer revenue fund for that?
Please sewer revenue fund.
Okay, as long as it's the revenue fund,
Yeah.
I will second the motion.
Okay. Mr. Morgan, how do you vote?
How about yes?
Mr. Bach, how do you vote?
Yes?
And I also vote yes. And then we have a next one on there, Mr. Shaw?
Yes, in the process of going through all the various files, we discovered 2 additional railroad licenses that weren't included in the first assignment of the railroad license. So we have a First Amendment of assignment of railroad licenses for the board to approve. The Sewer Authority has already approved and executed this. The 2 licenses at issue were licenses that we believe are currently held by Norfolk Southern. We have sent that information over to them and are waiting to hear back on these, as well as the other Norfolk Southern licenses that we have. I would say that we have, I think, found the right people to talk to. Sometimes that's a challenge with these railroads, but we're making progress, at least on that end. So I would request that the board authorize the execution of this First Amendment of assignment of railroad licenses.
Okay. Any questions from the board? Anybody? Okay. Do I hear a motion to approve that amendment?
I'll make a motion to approve that First Amendment of assignment of railroad licenses.
Okay, and I hear a second on that?
I'll second.
Okay, Mr. Morgan, how do you vote?
I vote yes.
And Mr. Bach, how do you vote?
I'll vote yes.
And I also vote yes on that. Okay, and then there's one more action there.
Yes, we received from CSX their assignment agreement that has already been approved and authorized and signed by the Sewer Authority, assigning, I believe, the 4 licenses that are held with CSX for the sewer lines. I would ask that the board approve the execution of this assignment, and I'm happy to say that we did get the CSX to waive the $4,000 transfer fees that they typically apply on these. So we were successful with the railroads.
Oh, good. That's good news there.
Well, that's rare.
Exactly.
Just to even talk to somebody is rare, you know, that's good.
I may use that to shame DEP, but we'll see.
Yeah, say we got better results from the railroad, you know. So, okay. Any questions or comments from the board? Okay. Call for a motion on that assignment agreement.
I'll make a motion to approve the CSX assignment agreement.
And do I hear a second on that?
I'll second.
Okay, Mr. Bach, how do you vote?
Yes?
And Mr. Morgan?
I vote yes.
And I also vote yes. Excuse me. Okay. Let's see here. Item number 13, Act 101 DEP 902 Recycling Development and Implementation Grant Award Agreement. Let's see here. This comes from Jessica Stutzman. Would you like to come up to the podium and explain what this is about?
Good morning. The Recycling Department here is pleased to announce that we have received an award from the Act 101 PA-DEP Section 902 Recycling Development and Implementation Grant in the amount of $325,450. This grant funding will be used to cover the cost of project development, public education, processing equipment, and land-associated costs for the Millcreek Compost Center and the Recycling Department. It's our recommendation for the approval of the Act 101 DEP 902 grant, which requires supervisor signatures for executing the terms of the agreement. With this grant, 90%, the $325,450 will be covered by the DEP with a minimum share of 10% match funding, $36,162 from Millcreek Township. That share comes in the form of recycling education that we do every year, which is the Millcreek Township calendar, recycling brochures, and the Millcreek Compost Center brochures, as well as project development.
Okay. Okay, then. Any questions from the board?
Just to clarify, Ms. Esmond, the match is, it's an in-kind match, correct?
It's cash match,
That's
but
cash
it's,
match.
yeah, it's activities that we do every single year.
Okay. Okay, and it's a form of recycling education, which you guys do a great job at that there, so.
Thank you.
Congratulations again for getting this grant award there, so. Okay, no further comments or questions? Okay, call for a motion to approve that grant agreement. We need a signature on that, and so we need an action to approve that signature.
I'll move to execute the grant agreement and authorize the 10% match and not to exceed $36,162.
Okay, do I hear a second?
I'll second.
Okay, Mr. Bach, how do you vote?
Yes?
Mr. Morgan, how do you vote?
I vote yes.
And I also vote yes on that there. Okay. Excuse me just a second. Item number 14, the Retire Your Old Glory Agreement. Again, I think this is Jessica.
Retire Your Old Glory is a project that was introduced to Millcreek Township in 2013. It provides patriotic collection bins in the Millcreek Township lobby for tattered, faded, and torn American flags to be deposited. The old American flags are then retired ceremoniously in a dignified and respectful manner by the Boy Scouts of America, Girl Scouts of America, the American Legion, Veterans of Foreign Wars, and the Isaac Walton League, and other select service groups. The Millcreek location has collected over 3,000 flags since the inception of the program. It's our recommendation to renew the Retire Your Old Glory release and waiver of claims form so that we can continue this service to the community, and our particular bin is sponsored annually by Printing Concepts.
And that there's a cost involved with this, $25 a year?
Yes.
And this would be for a 4-year agreement taking us to 2022.
Yes.
Is that correct? Just for clarification, I think I'd ask, this is more than just the American flag. We can also have military flags.
Right, military, POW, MIA.
And POW, MIA, so anybody that has a flag that would like to dispose of properly, and if you were in a branch of the service, and you can have the flag properly taken care of at that time too. So we welcome that there. So any questions among the board here, any comments? Okay. Call for a motion to approve that agreement, Retire Your Old Glory.
I'll make that motion.
Okay, do I hear a second?
I'll second.
Okay, Mr. Bach, how do you vote?
Vote yes?
And Mr. Morgan?
I vote yes.
Okay, and I also vote yes. Okay, item number 15, Millcreek Mall licensing agreement, and this is once again back to Jessica Stutzman.
The Millcreek Mall hosts Widget Wednesday in the Widget Kid Zone the first Wednesday of every month throughout the year. The ongoing series of programming is designed to delight the little ones with storybook reading, crafts, and tasty treats, and the program is sponsored by Widget Financial. The Millcreek Township Recycling Department was asked to participate again this year, so we're looking for approval for the program, or for the department to participate on Wednesday, August 7th from 11 to 12. We'll be reading the children a story on recycling the day the trash came out to play, and we also provide an educational coloring book handout to the students and parents.
That's a unique name for the story, the day the trash came out to play.
It's cute.
I'll bet. Okay, so you're just asking for permission to go there and represent Millcreek Township in reading that story then?
Yes, there is a liability waiver that needs signed as well.
Okay, okay. Any questions from the board?
No.
It's a great idea there, thanks. We've done this before too, right?
Yes,
Yeah,
for
okay.
several years.
Yes, okay. Okay, call for a motion to approve that agreement with Millcreek Mall licensing.
I'll make a motion to approve that agreement with the Millcreek Mall.
Okay, do I hear a second?
I'll second.
Okay. Mr. Bach, how do you vote?
Yes?
Mr. Morgan, how do you vote?
I vote yes.
And I also vote yes on that there. Thank you, ladies.
Thank you.
I think that's all we have on that. Item number 16 is the December building construction report. Can I toss this over to Matt? Do you have that with you?
No, I don't.
Okay,
Sorry.
no problem. I didn't mean to put you on the spot there. I know I've been doing this here, but that's okay. For December 2018, we had, in residential area, we had one new single-family home being constructed at a value of $360,000. In the commercial aspect, including non-residential structures, we had $207,690, for a grand total $567,690 of construction value. It generated $2,250 of permit fees in the zoning department. Copies of this will be available later today, I think. They'll be online, or paper copies are available in the zoning department. Okay. Communications, number 17. Erie, let's see, we're going to Mark Chahesky. Do you have anything there, sir?
Yeah, first is the appointment of delegates to the Erie County Tax Collection Committee. This exists as a point of contact between the municipalities and Berkheimer, who collects EIT and LST for us and the school districts. And it's my recommendation to appoint myself, which it's a recommendation, you got to approve it, as the delegate, Melanie Page, the assistant treasurer, as alternate delegate, and John Morgan as the second alternate delegate, which means he probably almost never going to have to be there because we only meet twice a year.
Lucky.
To this commission.
Yep. Okay. Any questions from the board here? Okay.
Just want to say that I really think Jim Bach is exceptional, and Jim would like to be appointed to the tax.
That's like fourth? Would you like
I
that?
would be happy.
Or we can move ahead of you,
No
John, if you want
motion, no
that.
second.
Just a suggestion.
Okay, so we do need to make an appointment through an official action by the board, so do I hear a motion to appoint those delegates?
I'll make a motion to approve the delegates as stated.
Okay, then second on that? I guess I will do that there, okay. So I'll second that there. Mr. Bach, how do you vote?
Yes?
Mr. Morgan, how do you vote?
I'll vote yes.
Okay, and I'll vote yes on that too. Okay. Anything else there, Mr. Chahesky?
I guess I got the 2019 conferences as well.
If you would.
The asking for permission to attend the PELRAS conference in March at Penn State. The attendees would be Diane Lyons, HR manager, John Grow, Jim Bach, and myself. And the total cost for that particular meeting would be $2,117. That is also, it's a budgeted item. And then the second meeting is the PSATS conference for a total of, it's the total expenditures not to exceed $4,360.90. And who we got here going? I think Jim's going because
He's a delegate.
he's the delegate.
Thank you.
I'm going to keep Jim company. And Emma George is the engineering delegate. There are extensive classes, especially for engineers, at PSATS, and it makes sense for Emma, who's never attended, to experience PSATS.
If I could add, both of these conferences are very informative and are of value. If any of the conferences we go to as township employees or supervisors, there is a lot of education and information gleaned from that. Plus, there's also quite a bit of networking that comes from these things. So they're well worth attending, both of them. So we try to keep the cost to a minimum, which we have done there, and we continue to do that. So just wanted to add that. Okay, so we need a motion to approve attendance for the PELRAS conference. So I hear a motion on that?
I'll make a motion for that.
And I hear a second?
I'll second.
Okay, Mr. Morgan, how do you vote?
I'll vote yes.
Mr. Bach, how do you vote?
Vote yes?
And I also vote yes. In regards to the PSAT conference, do I hear a motion to approve their attendance?
I'll make a motion to approve the attendance at PSATS.
Okay, and a second on that?
I'll second.
Okay, Mr. Morgan, how do you vote?
I vote yes.
And Mr. Bach, how do you vote?
Yes.
And I also vote yes. Okay. Anything else you have there, Mark?
I think that's it for me this week.
Okay. Mr. Morgan, do you have anything?
That's all.
That,
Do you want me to cover the crossing guard?
Yeah, you want to do that?
Sure.
If not, I can. It doesn't matter.
We have a request from Human Resource Office regarding the hiring of a new crossing guard. Ms. Lyons recommends hiring of Matthew Wolf. Hiring of Rachel Matava due to the resignation of Matthew Wolf as a crossing guard at a rate of $25 per hour as a start date retroactively January 2nd, 2019.
Yeah.
I'll put that in the form of motion.
Okay, do I hear a second on that?
I'll second that.
Okay. Mr. Morgan, how do you vote?
I vote yes.
Mr. Bach, how do you vote?
Yes?
And I also vote yes, and I just want to make a quick comment about Mr. Wolf. I know he's been doing that for quite a few years up there at the Grandview School. He's an elderly gentleman, and he's just not able to do it anymore. And I want to thank him publicly for his service in doing that there. It's always a pleasure seeing him up there. He's always a smiling guy, waves to everybody, and makes sure our kids are safe crossing the intersection up there on Lancaster, right by the school. So I want to wish him all the best in whatever he does next. So I don't think he's going to sit still too long. But anyway, just want to make that comment. Anything else from you, John?
That's all I have.
Okay. Under executive sessions, we did have an executive session with our solicitor on January 3rd to discuss legal matters and an HR matter. So that's all I have. Jim, do you have anything? Anything to add? There's nothing from the police department. I don't know if you had anything
No
else.
requests from police
Okay.
or code. No, I have nothing.
Okay. And student ambassador report. Hannah, do you have anything to report from McDowell?
This Friday is the Prep McDowell basketball game at McDowell, so that's kind of exciting. Everybody's getting pretty excited about that. Also, this Thursday through Saturday is the PMEA orchestra competition, which we do every year. Students go, but it's never been at McDowell. They usually travel to other high schools, so that's pretty exciting. And and then the ACTs, the last one of the for seniors is February 9th.
Okay.
That's all.
Okay, well, thanks.
Thank you.
Good to hear. Good to hear that. Mr. Shaw, do you have anything?
Nothing further.
Okay. Cheryl, you have the right to know.
I do. I have the December 2018 Right to Know report. We had 3 requests, 2 were denied, 1 was granted, for a total of 2.5 hours processing time.
Okay, sounds good. Okay. Matt Waldinger, anything from your department?
Nothing further.
Okay, how about Gary? Anything? Judy, anything from your department that we need to be aware of? Okay. Okay. One thing I forgot to mention under communications is that tomorrow, the Millcreek Township Board of Elected Auditors meets at 1 o'clock upstairs in the conference room. This Board of Auditors, they're not financial auditors, but their purpose and function is to review the Board of Supervisors in their job titles and what they do and set pay and benefits. This is an open public meeting, and of course, as any public meeting, the public is allowed to attend. So second floor, if anybody's interested, 1 o'clock. Anybody else? Okay, citizens to be heard. Do we have any citizens to be heard at our meeting today? Okay. Okay. Thank you. Okay, with that being said, I call for a motion to adjourn
I will motion to adjourn.
at 10:02.
I will second.
Okay, we're out of here. Thank you.